Today, we're going to answer the question, is the 4K video on the EOS M50 really as bad as everybody says it is? Let's go. What's up everybody? Phil with Photo Gear Fun here. Today we're going to look at the Canon EOS M50, see if the 4K video is as bad as everybody says it is. Pardon the lighting here is kind of tricky. We're at the beautiful Duke Gardens in Durham. I'm going to do this one vlog style. So you can see this is all going to be shot in 4K, except when noted I'll show you a 1080p reference. This is on the 11-22 Canon lens, so you're seeing the 4K now. And all throughout this video will be shot in 4K. So again, the lighting's a little tricky here. The ISO might fluctuate. I've got auto ISO set. But pay attention to the background. You'll see when contrast autofocus, which is what it has in 4K instead of the awesome dual pixel, you'll see the background pulsing when it's trying to get focus, when it's really not sure about its focus. So as you watch this video, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that in the B-roll. There'll be plenty of B-roll here from beautiful Duke Gardens coming up on the waterfall. But just pay attention to the focus. I've got face detection on, and pay attention to the background again. You might see that pulsing in the background. It's a very warm day here today. I'm at 11 millimeters, and all this, except for where you see zoom, will be shot at 11 millimeters. And again, this lighting is very challenging. I'll do my best. Sorry, I'm looking away from the camera, but you can see going in and out of shadow here. So again, pay attention to the autofocus. Look at the warping in the background. I don't have anything other than the image stabilization on the lens. So the electronic image stabilization is turned off here. I don't really like the way that it looks, but again, this is all at 4K. We're shooting at 24 frames per second, and you're seeing the beautiful Duke Gardens behind me. Get close up on my ugly mug. See how the autofocus is doing. Again, face tracking is on. The biggest complaint is the lack of dual pixel autofocus, so we'll see how this does. So far in the camera it looks good, but we'll get it back, we'll look at the video. So we're going to do this part vlog style, and then we're going to finish off in the studio so you can see how this will do in 4K in the studio. So we'll do our wrap up in the studio, 4K. And sorry, it is a warm one out here. My face might be a little red. So this is 4K, and we're at 11 millimeters. So what I want to do is show you just the difference in the field of view. So there's a 4K crop, and it's like 2 point, I forget what, you probably have seen reviews and you know the numbers, but there's a crop on top of the 1.6 crop. So this is 4K, and I'm holding it basically at arm's length. What I'm going to do now is switch over to 1080p and show you a 1080p clip, and just pay attention to the difference in the field of view. So this is 1080p, dual pixel autofocus on, face tracking on. You can just see the difference in the field of view. I'm holding it roughly at arm's length, the same distance. So if you look at this frame and we switch back to 4K, you'll notice that the 4K frame is cropped in. You can see it on the clip before this. The 4K crop is fairly tight, but with this 11-22, I think it's not that bad. Obviously, 1080p, you'll get the dual pixel autofocus, you'll get the wider frame, but let's see how the 4K does. Again, I'll review the footage, but we're going to shoot everything except for this clip and maybe one more in 4K. So all the B-roll, all the walk and talk is all going to be done in 4K, and we'll see how it goes. we're heading over to the main gardens. I'm gonna just put the B-roll, mix kind of the B-roll in, but the main gardens are fairly pretty. I'll do a nice montage over there, but again, we're doing kind of the walk and talk. See how this works for a vlogging solution, also for B-roll. You've seen the B-roll. Everything I'm doing is handheld. I've just got it on a mini tripod. So everything you see here is with the lens stabilization on and the digital stabilization on, but the mode is not selected, not the enhanced mode, so it's just on, but not selected, if that makes sense. So check out this amphitheater here. Well, it's going to do it at Duke Gardens. It is, as you can probably tell. It's hot, probably 95, 97 degrees out. Anyway, I think you got a good sample with the B-roll and with the walk and talks. Again, this is all shot 4K, 24 frames per second on the 11 to 22. Shot at 11. I've got face tracking on. Auto ISO, 1/50th of a second, 24p. I know that's a lot of technical information, but I'll get that out of the way in case folks have questions about it. I found out I'm going to need an ND filter for this. I just got this a little while ago. Some of the shots are overexposed. I apologize for that. The exposure is really tricky here. But this is 4K on the Canon EOS M50. It looks good on the camera. Again, I'm going to go into the studio. We're going to film the studio wrap up with this M50 in the same lens at 4K. Review the footage. I'll let you know what I think. We'll wrap this up, and I will talk to you in the studio. All right, I had a chance to cool down. We are back in the studio. This is 4K. So I reviewed the video, and people were right. The autofocus is really not very good. Let's see if we can have it focus on my hand into my face. So you can see that that is nowhere near as good as dual pixel autofocus. You saw the clips, you saw the video. I think the 4K video is pretty sharp. Don't judge the sharpness though, because in some cases I had the aperture down to f22 because I didn't have an ND filter. So when you look at the video, don't necessarily look at the video sharpness because diffraction probably kicked in, and just look at the autofocus, and the autofocus performance was pretty bad. I wouldn't rely on this for sure. Sorry about my hair. It's kind of windblown and sweaty. Just like I said, just kind of got back and reviewed the footage. So the 1080p from this EOS M50 is really, really good. In fact, probably 1080p upscaled. The clip that you saw of the 1080p was upscaled to 4K. And for YouTube, upscaling it to 4K, 1080p to 4K is probably a pretty good idea. I think you'll get a little better bit rate, so a little better quality. But I wouldn't rely on the 4K autofocus. But if you have it locked off on a tripod and you want to use manual focus, or you're really good at focus pulling, I think the 4K video looks really good. So it's a mixed bag, obviously. If it had dual pixel autofocus in 4K, it would be probably the best vlogging camera around. That flip screen is great. It's really not big enough for you to see precise focus because it did look good. Some of those shots did look good to me on the small screen, but they didn't look good obviously when I got them back. You could see the focus was a little bit off. So I just wanted to show you this video. You hear people talk about how bad the autofocus is. I just wanted to actually show it to you. I don't know that there are too many videos where people have done that. So you saw all the videos, you saw the walk and talks, you saw the B-roll, and now you can kind of decide if you would like to use 4K. And if you're counting on 4K, maybe this isn't the camera for you, like others have said, unless you're going to use manual focus. Hope you enjoyed the video. Get out there and have your photo gear fun. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, click on that bell icon. That will allow you to be notified whenever we go live or upload a new video. Thanks again for watching this video. I will talk at you again in the next one.